Well, there you go, people. I hope you're going to kick back in and vibe with me. Darren G, Liverpool 5 Alive, Calnach UK. As always, protect your children from what exists within your communities. Poison. You got that right, Jay, mate. Yes, Darren, how are you, bro? Sound, mate. Nice one, top D. Adam, Aaron, Brandon. What happened? Make a backup account. Someone reported me for bullying and harassment. But obviously I appealed straight away, notified them that it was someone doing it in a deliberate act, and they've just dealt with the appeal straight away and let me back on. So I got violated, got took off, appealed instantly, and now I'm back on instantly. So it is what it is. It always happens when you start tagging certain people within your communities. You start speaking very vocal and very passionate about what they've been up to. You just get shut down, don't you? Sorry to anyone before that was thinking, wow, he's going off cake here, but you've got to understand where I'm coming from. Can't you see what I'm seeing? Can't you look at what I'm looking at? Can't you see kids getting absolutely drilled psychologically by gangbangers and their dealings? It's just messy, mate. Yes, Pearson then, hope you're well. Yes, Lula Bell, hope you're well, mate, kicking in from Belfast. Joanne Woodward, hope you're well, mate. Yes, Scar, how are you, mate? SB, hope you're well, there. Scar. Misery and pain, says David. Top D, keep going, mate, always. Canny Farm says hello. Hello to Canny Farm. Kipper, keep it real. Hamza. Naughty, naughty Hamza. I'll leave you there though, bro. I'll just mute you. You can just get gonky, can't you? Shiny kebab. Setting profiles up to come in and say one word and get blocked. Doesn't make sense, kid. Just doesn't make sense. Yes, Robson's Green, hope you well, there. Pops 4IL, 4RL. Alex, you're a legend. Thanks, mate. Reese. Alex Morgan, new. Oi, oi. Adam, any more cartel stories? Got loads, lad, but you know, when I start speaking about them, I just start getting too passionate, mate. My voice starts getting raised. I just can't wait. I know it sounds mad, doesn't it? But I just cannot wait, you know, until my words come to fruition. Just so I can look at you again and go, told you so. Just watch. Trust me. Yes, Carl, what would you do if an electric bike pulled up next to you? Pull him off it and stamp all over him? Why, what would you do? What do you think's going to happen, lad, if someone pulls a gun out on me? Do you think I'm going to run? It's the worst thing you can do. Listen to me. If someone pulls a firearm out on you, jump at him, because that is the last reaction he's expecting. He's expecting you to flap. He's expecting you, and he's expecting you to run. The majorities are going to be running a straight line. Never, ever, ever do that. If you come under attack by one of these little rats of a gunman and you can't grab them and deal with them and you've got to run, make sure you're hitting fences. Don't start in a straight line down the street. The first thing you've got to do in that situation is get out the line of fire. You get out the line of fire straight away. First thing you do, corners, fences. And that's why I don't really do long distance running. Although I can bang a 5-mile run out, sweet. I'm more into plyometrics and sprints. Why? Because that's what you need to survive in today's world. Especially when you're coming from a stage like mine. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you know what? Unfortunately, some people try that. Some people hit the fences, like Carl Bradley. Remember Carl Bradley? Found shot to death in a garden. That's what he done. Hit fences. But he got hit with a bullet on the way. Collapsed and died in the snow. And it was Cashman that done that. So the same person that done Carl Bradley also done that kid on True Brew. What was his name? Done jail with him. He was home on licence. Also, he's done pure Young Olivia, didn't he? Are you from Evan or Anfield, Darren? It's the same place, mate. It's no difference. You cross over a road and you're in Anfield, cross back over the road, you're in Everton. It's one road. Robson Street. So if you cross over that side, you're in Anfield. You cross over that side, you're in Everton. You bullied me years ago, did I? For what? Let's see what your site looks like. So you've got following 11 followers, nothing else there. So basically, you've just set that up to come in and try and, you know, because I'm calling the Kellys and Darren Till a bully, you're now trying to redirect that bully shout. If I bullied you when you were a kid, mate, I must have been a kid as well. And I'm sorry, because I've completely changed now. I don't bully no one. I've never thought that I've bullied anyone, to be honest with you. I've never bullied anyone, mate. So unfortunately, for you to think that you got bullied by me, you must have been doing something. You know, you must have been dealing drugs for someone or something. But it is what it is, kid. If you're still feeling aggrieved by it all these years later, I'm sorry, mate. Okay? You can take the apology or you don't have to. I'm not really arsed, mate, to be honest with you. Don't even know yet. Sonny Baker, done much today, Darren. Done all sorts today, mate. Working on my life, aren't I? Tony Sheep, did you get bullied? Of course I got bullied, mate. Fucking hell. I was a special needs child, mate. Easily led, easily influenced, bullied a lot until I fought back and then became the bully, basically. I was getting bullied in school, fought back, became the bully in the school, started running the school and got expelled. Have you ever been shot or stabbed? I've been shot and stabbed twice, mate. Been shot once, only by a 2-2. Yeah, look. There, you might be able to see it. Right there, it got me. Didn't it? It was like if someone pulled a hair on my chest. That's the type of pain it was. Right there, see? I also got stabbed in the back up here. Twice. I got that when I was having a straightener. Having a straightener with some little rat. And I've got him. See, when I was saying I go to straighteners by myself. So when this kid shouted my name about saying he wants to, I've gone to him by myself. But he's been there with his uncles and his dad. So I've had the straightener with him. Got him doing him. He's on the floor. He's getting damaged. He knows he's on his way. You on it? Next minute, I just get stabbed in the back of the shoulder. Pulled off and thrown up a wall. The knife gets given to the kid who have just been battering. And I just get this mad power from somewhere, struggle away from the uncle and the dad, and just get away from it. And then I've been stabbed here, right there. Got a collapsed lung and a punctured lung off that one there, mate. So it is what it is, lad. You know, I've suffered. I've been stabbed up, I've been shot, I've been shot at. I've had people sat next to me, put in graves. I've had people put in comas. It's horrible, mate. And all I'm trying to do, like, is encourage you to come away from that life. Because don't think that you can't get caught up in that. Trust me, you can be leading a nice drug dealer's life, and then all of a sudden it just goes, boom. The violence kicks in and you all go to jail. Know what I'm saying? And that's the way it is, mate. Have you given up crime? What do you think, UK Swindon? Do you think I'll be sat in a dungeon like this if he hadn't? Let's have it right, brother. Come on. Do you think if I was still in the game, then rats would be talking about me the way they are now? Don't get it twisted, lad. Mad rats running around cutting young fellas. It is what it is, bro, innit? I encourage you not to use knives. I encourage you not to use guns. I definitely encourage you not to start selling drugs. Tony Sheet, what do you think about LBG? Nothing. Don't even think about them, lad. Couldn't give a fuck. Does me head in when them two next door are arguing. That's about it, bro. Said 2-2, Darren is a lion. Darren G is a lion, mate. Brian Connor, it's not what it is. It is what it is. Why are you saying it's not? Brian Connor, what makes you all of a sudden involved here? Have you ever had a boxing fight? Not a professional one. But I've had a spar with one of the best boxers in Liverpool. And if he wouldn't have career up through drugs, he would have been a worldwide global star, mate. You hear all these people going to Solly. Well, I went to Solly for about 4 months. I think the first spar he had was with a boxer called David Burke. And because I was fresh in the game, and he wasn't, he was just fucking bam, 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 biffing me all over the place. So I just went into him, got him in the corner, started throwing bombs. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And then some fella called Franny Smith jumped in. Stop it, split it up. You can't go like this, it's sparring. What's it like being stabbed? Why do you want to even talk about what's it like being stabbed? It's mad, mate. You don't feel it. You don't feel it, mate. Till later on. Obviously, you're going to feel it if it touches a bone. But if it goes right through into your heart, whatever, you don't feel it, mate. Like when I got stabbed here, it was during a knife fight. So basically, this is what's gone on. Years and years and years ago, there was a cold-blooded murderer called Daniel Reid. He stabbed a Liverpool doorman to death. He got away with it, like, you know. He never got convicted for it. But he stabbed a doorman in the city centre to death, yeah? He never went away for it. I was around him then, we were like mates. So basically, I was a Joey for Danny Reid. I was one of them kids that was being used and abused, but I was being used and abused by Danny Reid. So I was getting used and abused for time by him. I was doing all my going to Birkenhead, giving kids this, doing all my... And that was happening for like a year. And then I'm still doing it with him. And then out the blue from nowhere, he said he's going on holiday or somewhere, and he promised me that I'd be going with him. And then all of a sudden, he's took some other kid called Rudy. You might know Rudy, some years. One who's on his toes now or involved in whatever. He's a good kid, that Rudy. But anyway, he took Rudy with him. And then just left me to wait for them to come back. So I thought, do you think you're using like that? I knew where he stashed his dough. He used to put his money in a cereal box in the kitchen. So we just weighed his flat door in, went in there, took £5.50. As you do. Went out, rigged myself out. Went and bought myself a little Clio valve, bombing round in it, not giving a... Bombing round Anfield, doing me... Smoking me weed, thinking I'm rich with this £5.50. Anyway, it went from me just cruising round in my new black Clio, Paula Shark jumper on, all my new rig outs and that, loving it. Defo. And as I'm driving up Robson Street, I see this car coming towards me on the opposite road, and it's packed out. And it's only Danny Reid and his homies, isn't it? Like a little search party looking for me. But they must have thought I was going to run. I just fronted it, you know, and what? Pulled the car up, jumped out, bam. Danny Reid's there with a knife. So I've got a knife in my glovey. Get my knife out. You're on it? So like this now. Trying to stab each other. But what he done, the crafty bastard. Now let me start it again, right? None of us have had a knife. When we've jumped out the cars, he's had a knife hidden, you know, up his sleeve. So I'm just thinking it's a fisticuff. So this is exactly what happened. I'm just thinking it's a fisticuff. So I've jumped out and come on, let's have it then, you little bum bum. Do you know I could bang? I was knocking men out left, right and centre back then. You know, I was a kid, but I was putting men in comas with me punches. So they knew I could bang, you know what I mean? So I'm having it with him, throw a little few bombs. Next minute, I just get a body shot. But I'm just thinking it's punches. So I'm carrying on me. Next minute, I just feel the blood making me woolly top get heavy. And I'm thinking, wow, he's punching me here. You know what I mean? So straight away, I've gone for my knife. And I've had a big John Rambo knife, you know, a proper Rambo knife. I'm not on about the London compass at the top and matchsticks and all. You know, the proper shit. I've pulled this out. So now it's a knife fight. And then all I'm here, and in the I don't want to go to jail. I'm here, and you know, where the busies are coming. And I've just thrown my knife, and he's thrown his knife. And both knives went into the same garden. They've got off, but I've stayed because I'm losing breath. Now I'm there, mates, and I'm blood pissing out. This is what happened, people. Blood pissing out of my lungs. I'm sitting on the curb. I'm going in and out of consciousness. It was weird, mate. I go to hospital with them. When I'm in hospital, they patch me up and then I refuse anything. I just get out of there. They wanted what they wanted to do, and I said, "You're not doing that." Because I had a collapsed lung and a punctured lung, I was struggling to breathe, and they believed that I had fluid leaking out and going wherever. So what they wanted to do was ram a thing in there, you know, so I could breathe. Listen. So that's when I got stabbed off Daniel Reid, like. It was funny. Anyway, he's dead now. You know, he died in his sleep through a heart attack, sniffing coke and taking steroids. So I've been in the wars, me lad. I don't think I haven't been in the wars. I've been kidnapped. I've been tied to a chair and terrified. You know, don't start getting shit twisted, mate. Now, this is in fucking 96 or something, so don't get that shit twisted neither, alright? This isn't last year or the year before, so don't try and twist it like the majorities will do. Understand what I mean? How was you kidnapped? I was kidnapped by the powerfulest people in Liverpool at that time. I was dragged into a jeep by Thomas Gilday, Joe McNally, Senior, George Bromley, Senior, Joey Platt from Bootley. I don't know if he's not alive no more. Joe Platt used to own Platt's Gym on Hawthorne Road, and Purple Aki. Mad, mate. So this is what's happened. I think I've told you that story already, haven't I? Anyway, I got set up by Tommy. I think he was trying to see if he could trust me, right? So I was in with Tommy anyway. Something happened with the young daughter years before, and I'm in with Tommy now. I'm in the Pazzy seat everywhere he's going and this. And this weekend, I'm only young now, don't get it twisted. I'm still 15, 16 or something, right? And this weekend, he's took me out, but he hasn't bought me nothing. But he's spoilt everyone else around us, but haven't bought me nothing. So I'm just carrying bags for every other cunt back to the house. And then what he's done, he's deliberately shown... What happened with Tommy, every week without fail, you'd have gangsters from all over the city coming with bags of dough and just dropping them. And in Tommy's house, every so often, you'd have like 500 grand behind the couch or something, right? So what he'd done, he deliberately had something like 38 grand in a blue plastic bag and put it on top of the kitchen cupboard. No one I was watching. I'm a little pothead at the time, right? So I'm there, I'm left in the house by myself. I'm waiting for my bird to come back, Kate, which was his daughter. But she's not coming back, so I'm just bored. I'm thinking about just getting off, but then I need weed. You guessed it, kid, you guessed it, didn't you? Right up on that cupboard, bang, right in. Took a grand. Thinking he wouldn't miss it, yeah? Thinking he wouldn't miss it, right? So anyway, I'm buzzing, thinking I've got away with it. Sitting in Lee Savage's with half Oz of Rocky, thinking, yeah, thinking I'm the bollocks. Anyway, before I know it, you're just getting BMW Alpinas and Jeeps. They'd already been to me Mars and everything looking for me on it. I'm in my mates by Anfield's ground getting blitzed with Lee Savage and Chris Worthington, mate. So we all hear all these cars screeching everywhere, you're on it. So it is what it is, I'm just doing my thing. Next minute, it's time to go home. So I'm just walking home to me Mars, got a little 350 in my back pocket off the graft I took, you're on it. Bought an Oz of weed, thinking I'm mad. On my way home next with a Toyota Land Cruiser. George Bromley jumps out. Wow. He's the last person you want to see on a night. You know, he's scary, man. He's dead now and he got shot in the head or something. But he's jumped out. Joe Platt's jumped out. I mean, Joe McNally's jumped out. And Aki. I'm honest with you. Anyway, I'm manhandled into the back of this Jeep. I'm sitting in between Aki and George Bromley Senior. And I'll tell you now, I pissed me pants, mate. I pissed me pants. I pissed me pants. Now get on the twist. Get on this mad twist. Why they had listen to why they had the force out. They had squads out looking for me, Pure Dorman and that, right? Tommy had forgot where he'd put the 38 grand. And he was blaming me for taking the 38 grand. He'd forgot he put the 38 grand on the top of the cupboard. And he was looking for me under the opinion I dropped 38 grand. Honest to God, I'm not lying. It was scary. I'm just thinking, what are you on about, Tommy? I haven't took that. You know what I mean? Anyway, get on what happens. I'll get up to the house and tell him where it is. He gets it, counts it, and realises the grand's gone. So now, I'm thrown on a kitchen table, knocked out. I've just been weighed in, knocked out. I get thrown on this big, massive round table that they had in the kitchen, like a solid oak one. I'm on that when I wake up, and Tommy's attacking me with a Chinese wok. Big Chinese wok, like, smashing my knees in with it and all this. I was lucky that Kathleen and Kate came back, or I was dead, basically. I ended up in the cut. When I woke up and he's attacking me, when Kathleen and that's walking, I've seen that as an opportunity to get away, but everywhere was locked, so I've ended up in the corner with Tommy on the table like that. Bam! I'm in the corner getting smashed up by this table on my hips and that. But anyway, Kathleen and that came in, screamed the house down, calmed the situation down, and that was it. I've gone back to me ma's, black eyes, all bruised up. I'm just sat on the chair in the corner, all bruised up. My ma's crying, everyone's wondering what they're there. Next minute, there's a knock on the door. I'm just thinking, oh shit, this Tommy again. And it was. I think he must have thought it was going to snitch, you're on it, so he's come down to like, you know, calm down. You're on it, he's come in, had a little word with me, I want to speak to you tomorrow, make sure you come back up to my house. I'm going, oh, hi Tommy. He's giving me ma £1,000. Yeah, Johnny, sorry about the trouble. You're on it? Got SP Drip saying I'm lying. You little bellends, eh? I don't lie like your bird. You know when your bird's banging your mate and she's lying to you? I'm not lying, yeah? This is all true. I'm like 17, 16 when this is kicking in, mate. Mad. But that's when I got kidnapped by Tommy. I got kidnapped by the main men in the city, bro. So don't get twisted. What a boss man Tommy was though, lad. Hey, proper dude, mate. Proper dude. Yeah, Bromley was executed, weren't he? In Charlie Sager's kitchen. Charlie Sager reckons someone entered the house without him knowing and shot him dead. It's obviously set up. Because what you got to think about what George Bromley was. You know what I mean? George Bromley was like he was one of them he was like a Stephen French, the equivalent from the north of Liverpool. Stephen French from the south of Liverpool bullied people, taxed people, robbed the from North Liverpool. It was George Bromley Senior. Robbed people, taxed them, all this. So he's been round this Charlie Sager or something. He's upset a few people or whatever. He's gone round to Charlie Sager's on his mountain bike. Don't forget he's a man, but he's gone round on his mountain bike. He's sat in the kitchen of Charlie Sager's and someone's come through the door that was open in the kitchen and blasted him to death. Set up. But that's what happens to people like that, people. You know, in the criminal underworld, you know, when you get individuals that are running around taxing people, intimidating people and, you know, really shaking people up. They just all get together and get rid of them. You know, all piss in the same pot to get rid of them. Peter Duffy's off the rally. Poor George says foot champ. Nice one for these hats, people. It's very, very, very appreciated. I'm not shit. I've got no need to lie, have I? Why am I going to lie about such stuff? It can all be proved. Lion King thought it was Sonny. Thought what was Sonny? That killed him. Nah. Everyone knows who it was, mate. It was Joey and Lee. Two young up-and-coming doormen. Joey and Lee. Don't need to speak the next names. Everyone else knows them. L36, did you know Jimmy Gilday, Darren? I met all the brothers. Is Jimmy the one that lived facing Everton's ground? I'm not too sure, mate, to be honest with you. Kieran S, chatting pure blood. Get out of here, you little spunkstain. Don't worry, lad, you're still there, you're just being muted. Yes, Johnny Marshall, Maria. I knew Joey and Lee, so you know the full sits then, don't you, mate? Did you know Carl Morgan? Yeah, I did actually, yeah. Anthony, what did Darren Till and Paul Kelly do? That'll be on my YouTube in a minute, go and watch it. Dylan Hutchinson. So that hour before, where it was going in on the Kinnington cartel and their affiliates and their associates, whether it's Darren Till or Colin Heron, I don't give a when it was going in before on the affiliation to the Kinnington cartel, normally when you get violated and took off, you lose the content. But I've got the content, so it'll be on my YouTube channel in a minute. So when I come off here in a bit, I'll be going onto my YouTube and uploading that hours of content about the Kinnington cartel again. Thoughts on Curtis Warren? Thoughts on Curtis Warren getting out? I can't wait for him to get out, to be honest. He needs to be on the streets, lad. He needs to be in this city. And he'll have a boss idea about how the Kinton cartel came into this city and done what they fucking done. They only done it because he wasn't here. Do you understand what I'm saying? If he was still in that city at that time, there's no way the Irish cartel would have just came in and done what he done. But because he was in custody and couldn't really do what he wanted, he couldn't do nothing. But if he would, look, I'm not glorifying or bigging Curtis Warren up, but you've got to understand the power he had within the city. You know, he was around Tommy Gilday and people like that when I was around Tommy Gilday. So when I'm a kid, when I'm around Tommy, and I told you I was driving with him, I'd go everywhere with him, I'd see all his associates, didn't matter where they were from, I was just in a Pazzy seat with him, going left, right and centre with him, right? We always used to go fishing, sea fishing, in Colwyn Bay in Wales, or we'd go to Scotland, you know, the big North Wall, where the North Sea is. There's a bridge there, we used to go there and fish, you know, for taupe. So years ago, without me knowing who I'm surrounded by, I used to be on these boats. Tommy had a boat called Georgia, named after his youngest daughter. And I used to be a little tea boy, you know, making tea for all these heads who didn't know who he was. But every time we went sea fishing, you'd have them, like the main heads in the city, all going on this fishing expedition. So I'd be in the middle of them making tea, not really aware of who they was until I grow up later on and, you know, start understanding it properly of what's what and who's who. So I've been round Warren, Curtis, I've made him a few cups of teas. He probably won't, he will remember me, because you could not remember me. I was just one of them cheeky cunts, you're on it. It's like, there was another occasion when there was a bit of trouble with a few kids from Wavertree. The Fitzies, the Fitzgibbon family, and some other family were having problems or something. And Tommy, because he was the powerfulest in the city at that time, the majority of individuals went to him to be a referee in this straighten the situation here on it. So in Joe Platt's gym on Hawthorne Road, we used to go there, me and Tommy, on a regular and watch straighteners with different people from all over the city. You know, to have the straighteners squash the beef and carry on doing what they're doing. Kevy FC was my dad's mate. Who was? So anyway, I'd be on these boats with all this Curtis Warren and all that. Curtis Warren, Joe McNally, George Senior, Mick Carroll, not the baghead one, the dangerous one, that I think he's passed away now. There was all sorts of naughty individuals on these boats when we were going fishing, but you only realise them as you're growing up. So when I'm growing up, I'm going, have I been round him? You know, I was taught well. You know, the morals that got put in me off Tommy Gilday still exist today. I weren't taught by them gang of Farleys. I was taught by Tommy and his firm. I'm different. Different capacity, different way of doing things. And that's the way, that's basically it. But then Tommy passed away with pneumonia, and that was it. Tommy Gilday is dead, yeah, rest in peace, God bless his family. His ma and dad were funny, lad. And Eddie. So let me get back to the statement with the Fitzies. So in Tommy's garden, this is the first time I've ever met the Fitzies, right? But I've always had a powerful headlock, you know, a solid headlock. And Tommy used to love it. He used to love it. And you know, because he was a kid. And he used to make me get, like, his brother Eddie. Like, one day he said, Eddie, get here, lad, Fields Aaron show. Right, so I've got Eddie Gilday like this. And he can't get out. He's spitting, nearly going to sleep. And he was dying to weigh me in. You know it? But he wouldn't let him. Anyway, we go a few months forward. Some beef's happened somewhere. They've contacted Tommy, they want a straightener, bam, can he, you know, be the man in the middle sort of thing. So he's went, yeah, go ahead, bring it to me garden. Now in Anfield, in Tommy's garden, it's massive, it was big enough for a straightener. Anyway, the Fitzies have come. I'm not, who's the one with a twitch? One of them had a twitch years ago. No, off the steroids all the time. I think it was that Jason and nonce. But anyway, same again. Get him by the neck, Darren. You sure, Tommy? Yeah, just get him by the neck. So I've come behind him, just went bang. He's trying to wrestle me off this bum, but he's not getting me off, you're on it. They were all just laughing at him, and he was just stood there fuming. You know, juiced up, things popping out of his head. This is all true, mate. This is all true, lad. That was my first interactions with the dirty fitsies. The second interaction with the dirty fitsies after that, people, was this. We were sitting off in the Vale, me and Danny. We used to go to Vale and buy a weed, but we went to buy a weed this day and he's not answering his door. Noel Collins, yeah, little family off the estate. So we're watching this flat door, me and Danny, and we see these two juice heads, one from the south end. They were both from the south end actually, just big steg heads going in and out the flat. So I thought, hang on, something's going on in there. So we've just burst it, me and Danny, went right in. Went into the kitchen and it was like 4.5 bars of weed. You know, pucks of weed. You know, 9.5 ounce bars. But back in the day, they were worth a bit of dough on it. So we've gone in there, took it, got off. Sold a puck here, sold a puck there. The people who we sold a puck to informed the people that they bought it off us. So before we know it, we've got the Fitzgibbon family looking for us. I'm not lying, lad. Messy. Got the Fitzgibbon family looking for us. Anyway, they caught for Danny. They kidnapped Danny. Danny's 15 or something. They kidnapped him, took him away, took him to that flat, took him in the cellar of the flat that we'd kicked in, tied him to a chair and sat the chairs on breeze blocks. They absolutely tortured the life out of Danny, them Fitzgibbons. What they done with Danny, anyone that knows Danny and knows, I've seen Danny with his top off, you will have recognised 15-inch scars across his back in an X. That's what the Fitzgibbon family done to him. Like that never gets forgot, does it? Ever. Tracy Weston's seen it. I'm not here to lie. It's all truth, lad. And all yous in the city of Liverpool know what kind of dogs that Fitzgibbon families is, don't you? Hey, bullying, steroid abuse, and rats they are. They always have been. Nothing's changed. You're on it. Knew how to use and abuse the youth. So you've had these horrible, dirty, perverted men. That Jason Fitz wanking in parties and that while everyone's there. Pure nonsense. You know it. Everyone will tell you. I'm not saying nothing new yet. Everyone knows what they're about. So what they done, these horrible bullying bastards, they'd have young kids around them, bullying them to death, getting them to do this, getting them to do that, all the time. Do you know Michael Wright? Yeah, and he's dead. You know him. You're just dying for an answer for what? What do you want to know? Do you know him? Do you know him? Follow the host. Do you know Clarky? Which one? Peter Case. Yeah, it was my sister's dad. My sister's dad, that. So what's your... I didn't know little Katie had a sister. But anyway, it is what it is. You know, I don't want to start writing people off if you're his daughter. It's not nice, is it? So it is what it is. He got shot dead. Turner, Mark Richardson and Woolley got lifed off for it. 3 lads lifed off, 1 lad shot dead. It's not good, is it? And that's what I keep on speaking about now, continuously. Look how many lads are getting shot dead, and look how many lads are getting lifed off. If you can't appreciate where they're screaming from, I don't know, he's blind. If you're from Scotty, does Lewis Jones' murder not mean nothing to you? Do you understand what I'm saying, people? You're from Scotty, you've seen remember Berkey got shot dead off Scotty? Is this not doing nothing for you? Know what I mean? Is it not like, can you not open your eyes and understand the angle I'm coming from? I don't want any more Craig Barker shot dead on the street. I don't want any more Jamie Starkeys.
Scouts.
I don't want any more Rhys Joneses, Olivia Corbells. Do you understand what I'm saying? And if you're not seeing what I'm seeing, you need your eyes testing, honest. I don't do this for nothing, you know. I don't do this for materialistic stuff. I don't do this to gain financially or nothing like this. I'm simply doing this since I've been freed from custody to prevent kids getting caught up in a mess where they end up in prison, lifed off or shot dead. And it's not just the kids that get it. The kids' family up off it. The sisters. Have you seen how many families are living in trauma? Have you? You haven't had. Do you know how many murders have happened in Liverpool where the families have had no justice, and the only person that's screaming about the injustices is me? No one else seems to be batting an eyelid about all these kids. Doesn't matter what end of the city they're from. They just haven't been involved. Do you understand what I'm saying? And there's loads, you know. I could start reeling the names off now, but it's pointless. You know how many kids have been shot dead in Liverpool. You know how many kids' murders haven't been solved and unsolved murders that are in Liverpool. Around every unsolved murder in Liverpool, you've got a family. You've got families that are absolutely destroyed because they've lost their son. You've got young children that are growing up without their dad. Is this not like resonating within your mind, people? Do you not understand where I come from with this shout? You know what does my head in? It's the people that's committing these crimes. They are weak, nasty, that get given firearms. And once they get that weapon in their hand, they think they're untouchable. They just think they're untouchable. And you know who gives them the influence like they're untouchable? The drug dealer that are using them in the first place. Don't worry, nothing will happen. And then they get lifed off. What do you do after a couple of years? You need to understand why I do this, people. You know, I'm sincere. I don't scream and shout and life up for nothing. I don't life up for nothing. You heard me an hour ago screaming about the naughtiest organised crime group the UK has ever seen. And I've been screaming about them for years and years and years. You don't see anyone else doing it, do you? You don't even see the Liverpool Echo printing anything about the Kinnington cartel, do you? Why? Do you understand what I'm saying? You've only all got onto it when you watched the Panorama documentary. You only got on that unless you were from Ireland. You knew exactly what they were about. You're on it. But if you're from over the water on our shores, you didn't have a clue until I started screaming about it. Why did I start screaming about it? Because they tried to kill me. And I know that they've killed loads in the city of Liverpool, and I know they've killed loads around Europe, and so the authorities, and so do the Tills and the Furies that are there standing and hugging this head of an organised crime group that has absolutely destroyed communities in Liverpool, Manchester. It doesn't matter where you are in the country. The majority of the drugs within the cities in the country when they were active was coming from the Kinnington cartel. But I've spoken enough about them. It is what it is. If you wanna listen to me, Maria's saying the Kinningtons are responsible for a lot of deaths in Liverpool. They are. And even if they haven't pulled the trigger themselves, They've hired the likes of Liam Cornett to run around the city and do madness. Yeah, I hope you well, mate. Kenny McGrath problem. That's the new front. You know, don't think that organisation weren't business savvy. Don't think that organisation could not recognise that going down with that organisation, so they need to set another one up fast. Don't think that all the fighters from NT Clay Global are just going over to Problem with no strings attached. It is what it is, mate. It is what it is. You can't understand it. Got Jason Fagan call me a turncoat. Who've a turncoated on, lad? Exactly. Who? A gang of bullying, dirty, dying drug dealers that thinks it's okay to let your sister get raped. This is what they stand by and condone. You know, you've got to understand what criminals are like in Liverpool. Criminals will associate, make money with, and chill out with, and go on holidays with a 3 times convicted rapist. Every young girl that he raped was under 17. He raped a girl that was in a wheelchair and shoved a brush in her private parts and made sure she drank half a bottle of brandy before doing so. Forced the brandy down. I'm talking about a young girl in a wheelchair here, people. Now, over the past few years, I've had a lot of people attacking me and nonsense. I have turned on all them dirty criminals. If you want to call me a turncoat, I'll wear that coat with respect, mates. I'll wear it with a smile on my face. I'll scream when all them go to jail. I've got a body. I've got a body. I've got a few bodies, people. I've got a few bodies. Not killing them, just watching them getting double and wrecked off. That's good enough for me, lad. You know, the more rats from the city of Liverpool that get shot dead and put in custody. You know, these organised crime groups at the top of the chain. That's who need to be targeted. Ignore all the young kids that are being groomed and manipulated. You can't ignore them, but you understand the angle I'm coming from here. Unless you chop the flake's head off, it's just going to keep on reskinning itself, isn't it? It's just going to keep on reskinning itself. A new load of youth every other year. More kids to groom. New kids to manipulate. More kids getting shot dead because they've... You've got kids, right, who don't want to graft in the first place, being forced to mind, end up front minding this and getting absolutely headed for it. And they didn't want to do it in the first place. Do you know how many kids are getting beat up on a daily basis because they don't want to be involved in this, but now they've got to be because my man's got no one else to look after the parcel? I've done it myself. I know exactly how to move. Look, everyone's got a stash. All them drug dealers have got a stash. And they like this stash to be consistent. You know, they like the kid to be quiet, not mix with people, stay out the way of everyone, just sit there with that big parcel in your house. The kid thinks it's great for a few months. Yeah, I'm earning dough, I'm in with that firm. But he doesn't realise that he's being prevented from associating with the mates he's grew up with, so he doesn't bring the graft bang on. And once he starts realising, hang on, I've got no social life here because of this. I'm basically just getting told what to do, when to do, and if I don't do it, they're screaming at me. So when he starts trying to back out, what do you think my man's going to let him? Do you think my man's going to get that sports bag of swag out of there and put it in his own house? No, that kid's getting told straight, you've had this much dough off us, don't think you can just start doing this now, you'll end up hurt. So the kid's in a mess then. And it's happening all the time, mate. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's happening all the time. You've got young kids using the mum's houses as stashes. Not because they want to, it's because they've got to. There's some mums out there that know their kids are put in the room and leave it and let it get on with it. And you parents are absolute dirt for letting your children go through that. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you were dealing drugs when you were his age. If you're letting your kid deal drugs and you've been in the game, you shouldn't be entitled to have kids. Simple as that. I'm Sammy, mate. I'm absolutely fantastic. Don't worry about me. Hey, nothing can dent this armour I've got. I've been getting attacked, harassed since I was 13. You're obviously going to build up mechanisms that you can defend yourself with, aren't you? So I'm sweet, lad. Unless they put a bullet in my head, I'll continue speaking all my life. Choose a life, not a knife. Protect the children, as always. As always. And it doesn't matter if they're not your kids. Protect them. You see any child in distress, protect them. Or her. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it comes from the Pakistani family that's just moved in down the corner. If you see a young child in your street crying, look after them. If you see a kid troubled, are you that type of individual that if he's in town, you're seeing a little boy lost, would you just leave him to find his way? Or would you walk over to him and go, what's up, kid, you lost? Where's your mum? Do you understand what I'm saying? We've got to start protecting the kids, people. You've got to start protecting the kids. It doesn't matter where they came from or whose they are. If you can help a child on your street, help them.
Sit off YouTube.
If you can go and buy a pint of milk and a loaf of bread every single day for that single mother down the road, you don't even have to deliver it yourself. You can go to Harrison's Dairies and go, hey mate, this address, can you make sure there's 6 eggs, a loaf of bread and a pint of milk delivered to this address every morning, please? Cost you what? £35 a week to do that. But you see that loaf of bread, then bit of eggs and that bit of milk to that family will sustain them. Honest. There's loads of people within our communities. Some are better off than others. You know, some really struggle and some don't. Why aren't the ones that don't helping the ones that struggle, so the ones that struggle can help the ones that really struggle? And you know what's important in every child's upbringing more than anything? Nutrition. Without the right nutrition, the bones are weak. Without the right nutrition, the skin diseases. Without nutrition, they don't sleep right. They get all sorts of kicks in when children aren't being fed properly. If you live in a street with 20 houses, why can't you look after 3 houses with kids in and single mums? All mums are proud. All mums will refuse help. But if it's put on the map, they'll take it gratefully because they know they need it. Especially on the run up to Christmas. The winter's kicking in. Christmas is kicking in. Children are used to a certain way at Christmas. We want this, that. They normally get it. But times are being hard. They're not going to get it this time. So there's going to be a lot of madness going on in houses. There's going to be a lot of upset kids. You're going to get kids running away from home because they haven't got what they normally get. It's going to be madness when it's on the run up to Christmas. And it's important that we don't let any more children end up on the same route as the children we're looking at now. Because the bottom line is the children. You know, you've got 16, 17, 18-year-old lads running around with guns, getting shot dead or getting lifed off. These are children. What we don't want in the city of Liverpool and any other city in the country is more young children ending up like them children. Do we want kids continually being shot dead, abusing drugs and getting lifed off? I don't. My eyes are wide open to what's going on. My eyes are wide open to the progression and how it progresses. I've been telling you it's going from knives. I've been telling you for 6 years. These are all focused on knives right now, but trust me, all these kids that carry knives in the city of Liverpool in the next couple of years want to be carrying guns. Why? Because that's where the power is now. If you've got a knife, you're not powerful. If you've got a gun, you're powerful. in their eyes, not in my eyes, but in their eyes, the stigma attached to you being a gunman is huge. That's why I was a gunman myself. I've been a gunman myself. I've let shots off all over that. Do you know it? But it was the stigma and the reputation it gave you. Once you had that stigma and that reputation, you could go into any graft area and set up shop and no one would say food to you. And if you've got a body count like Cashman did, you can run around the city like you're running. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not on. I wish you told you. Just have a good look. Start looking after the kids in your street. Honest. Like I've just said there, like, if you don't want them to know helping them, go to your local dairy and get milk delivered daily. At least you're giving the kids something to put in the system. You know what, we used to get fed when we were kids by our dad because we were scruffy bastards. We weren't going to school on a bowl of cereal. Do you know what we used to get? We used to get bread. This is what my dad used to make us for breakfast before we went to school, because this was all was in the house. Our dad used to rip pieces of bread up into little squares, put it in a bowl, pour milk on it. That was our breakfast, bread and milk. Now you're all sitting there thinking, you got treated bad. But at least we were going to school with something in the belly. Are you on it? It is what it is. If you can help the kids on your street by delivering a loaf of bread and a pint of milk and 6 eggs every other day or something, do it. Do it, lad, trust me. It is nice. It's nice. Get used thick bread and bang a bit of sugar on it, it's lovely. But just don't leave it in there for too long. With us being scruffy kids, it was gone in a flash. You know, we didn't really get fed anyway. We were the kids that was running in the fridge and there's nothing there. You go in the freezer, there's nothing but a packet of frozen sausages. Me and our Danny had spent 10 minutes on a frozen sausage. You know what I mean? They were the lives. That's what it used to be like. I'm not screaming whatever, yeah. That's just the way it used to be like in our household. Don't know about anyone else's. Beans on toast for your roast. Messing aren't you, lad? Brown sauce on toast for the roast. Beans. Get a tin of beans in our house once a blue moon, lad. Once a blue moon, lad. We were raised on red sauce butties, sugar butties, like that. That's all you used to get in our cupboards though. And that's why I keep on saying to you now about a loaf of bread and a pint of milk. So every day without fail, our mother would get up and the only two things she'll bring back from the shop is 2 pints of milk and a loaf of bread. And that'll be us. If we'd get an hot tea of a night, it'll be a chippy. And it'll be like 2 portions of chips between the 5 of us. You know what I mean? But you know what? That was just life back in the days, lad. That's what makes you strong. When you're raised in conditions like that, it builds you different to someone that's not. If you're in a house where the fridge is full, where everything's there, you're built different. You're built completely different from me and my kind. Do you understand what I'm saying? We've struggled for breakfast since we were kids. You never have. If we moaned about not getting breakfast, we'd get a backhander. You've never had a backhander. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're built completely different, kid. Don't think you're on the same level, because you never will be. You've got to have experienced grief, pain and situations like that to get to certain levels. You haven't experienced nothing. Not all of yous. Just all these little boys. Are you a criminal? says divvy. Do us a favour, divvy. Man struggle too. I think a lot of us have, haven't we? And that's what's gone on. Because our generation struggled like that on a regular, got beat up, done whatever. For some reason, it gave the mentality to the women and men of my age. My kids are going to be spoiled. My kids are going to have everything they want, but not my love. You've got parents. Got Wolfgang. You've got parents who think love and care is a cult. Love and care is a new computer, or love and care is to take them on holiday. No, it's not. Love and care is sitting them on your lap and giving them a big hug and telling them everything's going to be all right. That's what love and care is. Not materialism. Not materialism. You can't buy a child's love with materialistic. Do you understand? You can't. Alright, look at the rich kids out there. They've got everything, they're still not happy, are they? Still not happy. And look at the attitude on them rich kids. No, the spoiled ones. Drug dealers' sons and that. I've seen the attitudes on them. Have you seen how they look at the other kids who aren't dressed well on your estate? Have you seen how they treat them as if they're better than them? The dads ruined the kid's ma all his life. And this son is now looking at that mum's son like he's a piece of... It does my head in, you know. You know, if I had a little window where I would not be arrested for any crime I committed, I would go into the city of Liverpool for a full week and start taking drug dealers right out the picture. Honest. No ifs or buts. Right in there. Obviously, it's not the way forward, is it? You know, two wrongs don't make a right, do they? You've heard that saying before, haven't you? It just escalates, doesn't it? You know, be the bigger man. Take the insult. What, are you going to start causing death because you're being insulted by someone's bird? That's how it's out there. You've got people arguing over women where people are being shot dead. It's mad, isn't it? Crazy Nana. What a name. Hyper Sniper, okay? Ronnie, man. Did you have any pets, Darren? Says Neil. Yeah. I had a pigeon loft, mate. I had a boss pigeon loft, actually. I made it myself. Big, massive 12-foot shed in my ma's garden in the Grisdale. And we used to rob pigeon lofts. So we used to, like, go to Kirby. And years ago, we used to have these fellas that raced pigeons. And these fellas had pigeon lofts in the garden. And within them, they had some of the best birds in the world. Worth just some of them, you know? You'd had your pies, your cocos, your dove. You'd had all sorts, right? And I just got into pigeons. Don't know why. I just ended up getting into pigeons. I ended up going to the, like, Kirby robbing lofts. But then what I started doing, because when you rob the lofts, what you could do with the pigeons is keep them for a little week. And then underneath the wings on the pigeons, you'd have a stamp with a contact number on it and a reward. So, you know when you let the pigeons get off for a race, if they came off track and up somewhere in the world, there was somewhere to contact and get a reward for it. So we used to rob pigeons, keep them for a bit, and then ring the people. I've just caught your pigeon there in town. Grabbed your pigeon. Get a bit of money that way. But then we go to places like Delamere Forest. And what's that gaff called? What's that gaff called where I think all the kids still go there now to grab pigeons. I'm sure of it. GB89s and that. You know, Holland 82s. So the pigeons used to have rings on the feet. And some would be in Holland, some would be Great Britain, some would be France. It was kind of like that. They're the only pets I've had. I've had loads of dogs. I'm terrified of birds. Well, here's Here's food for thought. Imagine we had some sort of bang, or whatever, blue light they call it, don't they? Imagine we had some sort of blue light, right? And every insect, every animal went 2 foot bigger. That's food for thought, innit? Imagine a seagull 2 foot bigger. Dinosaur, innit? Imagine a spider 2 foot bigger. Imagine an ant. Imagine a fly or a bee. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Don't think it can't happen. Have you seen what these insects and pigeons are eating on now? They're eating human food. They're not eating pigeon food or pet food. They're eating human food. The cannibals, animals. Them seagulls eat pigeons. I've seen a seagull dragging a rat under a bin and just devouring it. I've also seen a seagull drag a pigeon and eat it. So imagine them two. Imagine them now. Imagine all of a sudden they all just went big. And we're giants to all these, you know. You know, to all these little animals on the planet, we're giants to them. When they look at us, they just go, whoa. But have you seen how brazen the seagulls have got now? I remember years ago, and this is truth, this. We're on a day out with Dyson Hall. So in Dyson Hall, when you've got troubled kids, they get so much money, you know, to get you out off the unit and just take you out to get you whatever. So me and Danny were out with it might have been Peter Dooley, and we're in the pier head, and Danny being Danny decides to grab a seagull round the fucking neck, doesn't he? Danny's got a seagull round the neck like that, battle it. Slams it on the deck, boom, stands all over it. Everyone was looking at us thinking, what the I'm not lying, lad. Have you seen him? Hey, they just walk in shops like that, don't they? Take a sandwich and a bag of crisps and just get off. These seagulls are crazy, lad. But you know what? Imagine a seagull 2 foot bigger. Imagine a Jack Russell 2 foot bigger. See how tenacious they are? Horrible little ankle biters. Give them 2 foot, lad, he'd be ripping your knee off. So that's just a food for thought, innit? Andrew the big what? Darren, answer me. See how many comments I get here, brother? You know, don't think you're special, lad. Haven't even seen you 50, you know, and you want to start taking priorities. Tell you what, lad, gives a 5-knuckle shuffle behind your ma's back. I'll say nothing. More crazy facts. Come to Barry for 5 foot seagulls. Is that what they've got in Barry, lad? Barry in Wales. Have you seen you country boys from the valleys? It's massive, aren't you? Only imagine the seagulls down there, kid. Hyper sniper, thanks for that. Darren, I was in Liverpool today, got a terrible homeless problem. I know it has, Norman. And it's going to get worse. Why? Because there's going to be a lot of people getting kicked out of their houses because they can't pay bills. And are them people going to get put in hotels like all these immigrants coming over the border right now? Are they fuck, mate? They're getting put into sweaty bail hostels where there's people smoking smack, prostitutes selling their asses. That's what's happening, lad. Any family that get kicked out of their houses because they can't keep up with the mortgage or whatever, should be instantly placed into one of these hotels that they're purchasing for these foreign criminals. That's what they are, foreign criminals. Basically, what you've got in this country, let me tell you this right now. What you've got in this country, whether you like it or not, is a foreign army waiting to be told and waiting to be given orders when to move on what they've got to do. So when you're getting 6,500 men coming across the border, landing in Kent in a week, don't sit there and think of thousands of them aren't soldiers coming in on a mission. Don't underestimate what's going on around the world right now. Trust me. A foreign army. That's what it is, Cadet in Quebec. A foreign army, bro. You're getting militants coming across the water in cells of soldiers and basing in this country. And when they land in this country, they're not getting treated as militants. They're getting treated as immigrants. They're getting looked after. So they're getting fed, they're getting housed, they're getting clothed until they've been told from wherever they've come from, now's the time to do the deed. This is what's going to happen to the country. And what can we do? Nothing. Why? Because while all the foreigners are coming into the country, yeah, what do you see with them? What do you see with all the foreigners? Do you see them killing each other? Do you see them fighting with each other? Or do you see them all in groups, united? What have you got with Scousers? What have you got with us British? Are we united? Are we sitting around in groups without any animosity? We're not, are we? Right, so what chance have we got if we've got a sleeping army in this country, which we have? We have got a sleeping army in this country, and I don't give anyone tells you. We've got a fully fledged army sleeping in the country and the foreign. Obviously not a big army, but you understand what I'm saying. Out of them 6,500 men that's come from wherever they come from, at least 1,000 of them are militant. At least 1,000 of them are militant. And when they're given their orders to do what they've come here to do, don't think they come here to get food. They come here on purpose for a mission. And when they're told, probably around Christmas time, to do what they've got to do, they're doing it. It's as simple as that. I'm not trying to scaremonger. I'm not trying to, you know. But open your eyes, people. Just open your eyes. You've got Joe saying you're tapped. Little Tom, he calls himself. Get out of here, kid. I'm not even going to block you, lad. I'm just going to mute you for the live. Just for this live as well. You can come back in tomorrow night and make a comment. You on it? I've got to go now. Anyone carried away with himself? That's where there's no weed in my system, people. I'm having another attempt. But obviously I keep it to myself so it manifests. We will smash in more veterans than you think, pal. It's the veterans. You know what? It's the soldiers. Do you know how many soldiers I associate with? Hey, I've got loads of military watching me, you know, lads. I'm messaging people in the military all the time. Every man I seem to meet off here and I go and chill, they've all got military experience. It's weird. And I know how many sleeping soldiers there is, bro. I'm not saying there's not going to be a fight put up. But you shouldn't be fighting in the first place on your own shore. We shouldn't have to fight a war against other countries in our own country. Yes, Garus, Welsh Guard. Good on you, brother. All you soldiers out there, it is what it is. I'm not going to hate on you. I respect you. I appreciate it. Everything you've done for us. You're going to get a lot of people, oh, you went to this country and you went to that country and, you know, let's not forget Lee Rigby. You know, that was a very pivotal moment in our history when we've got a soldier bludgeoned to death on the streets of London. So don't get to people. Don't think the danger hasn't, you know, don't think the danger's gone. It's still there. It's more hot-headed now. But we're not just dealing, in this country, we're not just dealing with, let's say, Islamic extremists anymore. The majority of Muslims, 99.9% of Muslims are not a threat to this country or anyone that resides in this country. We've got more threat from Albanians. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's more threat towards our way of life from men that are coming in the country disguised as Albanian citizens when really they're Russian. That's what happens. So when you're watching all these men come over and they're getting considered like Polish or Chechen, you don't hear any of them getting told you're Russian, do you? But trust me, we've had Russia all over our lands for decades and decades, and there's still thousands of Russians here now that love and respect their homeland. And the amount of Albanians that are coming over now on fake documents, don't get twisted. Some of them aren't even coming with the documents, just proclaiming to be that way. Most of them are Russian. You can see what... Anyway, let's just shut up. Evolved mindset. I never said there was, brother. Don't know where you got that from. Anyway, that's a whole different subject, and I haven't got time to be going into that. We'll use that. We'll speak about this again in like the next few nights or something. Obviously, tomorrow night, people, I'm on my YouTube. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, I'm on my YouTube. If you want to get on me tomorrow night, I'm going to be on my YouTube, and that's it. Obviously, before when I started saying, "You any good at fishing, mate?" I'm sure I'm, Neil. It doesn't matter if they're Orthodox Catholic. That's not they can be Catholic, they can be Muslim, they can be Jews. That's not the issue here, mate. It's not about the religion they possess, mate. It's about the intentions they possess upon this land. Anyway, God bless you all. Hope you're well. Sleep tight if you're going to sleep.
Scouse.
You can talk a glass eye to sleep, you. Can I, Lindsay? You going to sleep then? I don't know whether that was an insult or not, but I'll take it as an insult, so I'll just block you. In a bit. Little slapper coming in, trying to crack jokes. I can put a glass eye to bed, me. Go to bed then, you little slapper. Get out of here. Bang, blocked. What are you even coming in here for? You sound like Nisha. Nisha from the South End. You know that dirty woman that minds drugs? Wow, dirty Nisha. Anyway, choose a life, not a knife, people. Come vibe with me again tomorrow.